Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So welcome back to our YouTube channel. So in this video we will be discussing the passing package for the Sslc students for the science subject. Okay, so for the science subject you have designed a passing package as usual that will help them to gain at least 50 marks. Okay, so basically if they learn the things whatever we are going to discuss today, they will be able to score 60 above. But at least if a student even forgets the few of the things or misses some of the things which has been discussed today, even then the student will be able to score 50 marks. Okay, so let us move on now. Now in this we will be discussing the major things. The first and foremost thing the students need to remember is that the first thing is the diagrams. So if they study the diagrams, at least they will be able to score 16 marks. Okay, so this is the major thing what the students lack. If the diagrams are not practiced or ignored, then the student is going to lose the 16 marks. So keep in mind that the diagrams are equally important as a part, and it is a part of a theory. Okay, so please practice the diagrams. In this video even I will be showing you the important diagrams as well. Okay, so coming on to the next, that is the important formula with the physical terms and SI units. So over this I'll be sharing the another important video on this part alone. Okay, and coming on to the chemical structures. So what are these chemical structures? Even that we'll be discussing today. Then the important laws, in the entire syllabus, whatever the important laws are being mentioned, we have shortlisted them and we have made into the one document that will I'll be discussing in this. Okay, so this is important laws. Then coming on to the differences. The differences concepts, whatever the students have to study, even that part I have already mentioned in my previous video, telling about the most probable questions in the science. And still in this video also I'll be sharing the difference concepts also. Okay, and the balancing of chemical equations, very important thing. Then the reactivity series, which is being given in the metals and non-metals chapter, so that you need to remember. Then uses of chemical compounds such as the bleaching powder, baking powder, POP, all these things. So the uses of them. Then hormones, what is the pituitary gland, what pituitary gland secretes, then what are the hormone responsible for the masculine characters, then feminine characters, these type of questions. Then important 1 mark questions we have discussed. Then important concepts to focus on. Okay, so we have titled the things over here. So in this video I'll be discussing all of this, so don't skip this video, watch it completely, so that at the end at least you will be able to score 45 marks. So this is not the at least, and this is not the thing that maximum you can even score out of 40 if you see the things in a depth manner. Okay, so that also I'll be discussing now. Moving on to the next, that is the diagrams. Okay, coming on to the diagrams. So these are the important diagrams which the students need to study. So in my previous video, I have given the numbers of the or the names of the diagrams which students need to practice. But I think that thing will be difficult for the students to look it out. So we have made it into a form of a document for them. If you want this document on your with you, then please comment below, or you can even message on the number which is given in the description box. Okay, so these are the important diagram, that is the electrolysis of water. It is there in the chapter 1. Then as a reaction of zinc granules, very important in the acid basis. Then this action of steam on the metal in the metal chapter, electrolysis of water then in the metal chapter. Then the same, these are the metal chapters only from the second till the last, testing the conductivity. Then this, the first chapter, open stomatal pore, closed stomatal pore, then pollen tube growth, then neuron, okay, then LS of a flower, human excretory, nephron. So if you want the video to explain you, telling that how you can draw the diagram, difficult diagrams such as brain and heart, how you can draw it easily, comment below. We will even be sharing that video as well if you want that video. Okay, coming on to this, that is the circuits, very important. They don't seem to be so difficult, but if a question is being asked, the students will miss that. So I don't want that to happen, so we have made this into the PDF form. Okay, so these are the resistors in series, resistors in parallel, then the electric circuit which helps in studying the Ohm's law. Okay, then the simple electric motor, generator. So in this also I have mentioned in the previous video only that what is the important thing over here is that along with the diagram, if you study the functions of the brushes, split rings, so even that will add up to your marks. Okay, and then the biogas plant from a chapter, sources of energy. Okay, then coming on to the magnetism chapter, then the pattern, whatever the pattern is being made, okay, of the magnetic field around the straight wire, straight conducting wire. Okay, so this is the very important diagram which students need to practice. Now the symbols, so very important. If you are asked to draw a circuit in which a cell, a battery and a switch is present, then if you know the symbols, then only you will be able to draw. Okay, so this, all these kinds of, these are the symbols used in the circuit diagram, so you need to practice this as well. So image formations, coming on to the another part, very important part, as I have mentioned in my previous video also, that the image for ray diagrams, basically ray diagrams, not many students are comfortable. So if you want to skip this part, I think you shouldn't be skipping, but if you want to skip, you can skip as well, because not all the students are comfortable with the physics. Okay, so these are the shortlisted ray diagrams which is very important for the students. So if the students are planning to skip this part, then at least you can study these diagrams. Okay, so this is the table from your textbook only, image formations. Now that part I'll be discussing with you in the upcoming video, that is the important formulae. Now coming on to the chemical structures, what is the chemical structure of haloalkene, alcohol, aldehyde? If you want a detailed video over all this, then you need to message me on a number which is in the description box, so that I'll be able to take the classes for you separately, or I can even upload a video over that. Okay, so some functional groups were very important. Functional groups, what is the functional group of ketone, carboxylic acid, aldehyde, this part. So this part is very important. Functional groups you need to know, and the nomenclature you need to know, that what you will be calling for them, the prefix and the suffix for the things. Haloalkane, so chloro, bromo, how does that name comes? So I think the teacher whoever have explained you would have explained you this. If you would have enrolled in our institute, then you would have got to know about the namings of the, how you can name the organic compounds. But however, at this moment you can just study this, or you can just by heart this types of questions. Now these are the electron dot structures. of some important molecules, that is a H2 molecule, N2 molecule, O2 molecule. So ethene, methane, ethane, all these are the important structures. So you don't have to study the entire syllabus for these questions. Now important laws. So we have shortlisted the important laws from your entire syllabus, which is going to be very important. So law of conservation of mass. It states that mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. Then the Ohm's law, that at constant temperature the potential difference across the ends of a conductor. That means that if the wire is being held, okay, so if the wire is the conductor, the ends of the conductor, the potential difference across the ends of the conductor, that means that from one end of a conductor to the another end of the conductor, it is the wire kind. So if from one end of the wire to the another end of the wire, whatever the potential difference is present, it is directly proportional to the current flowing through the conductor. That means that in basic words, if I have to say you, it is directly proportional in the sense it is completely dependent upon the current flowing through the conductor. Okay. Detailedly I will not be able to explain in this video, because that video will be coming up for you, and I have already taken the classes for the students chapter wise. So if you haven't enrolled till now, it is not yet late. You can message us on in the number on the description box. Now heading over, the Joule's law of heating, that heat produced in a resistor is directly proportional to the square of a current for a given resistance, and directly proportional to the resistance for a given current and to the time for which the current flows through the resistor. So what does this tell you is that whatever the heat is being produced, it is completely dependent on the two times of the current. Okay. So square of the current means if the current in a conductor flows twice. Okay. So if the current flows twice, whatever the current will be produced if the current flows twice, that will come into the account. Then the resistance, the opposition to the extra, or the current, to the flow of a current, opposition to the flow of a current, that is called as a resistance. Then the time. So this entire three major things produces the heat. So whatever this phenomena, if the current is been flowing in a wire, if this is the wire, and if the current is been flowing through the wire and there is a resistance even applied, so these two things to occur, whatever time is been taken, in this entire slot of time, a heat is produced. So this three things, when it comes together, it will produce a heat which is being explained by a Joule's law of heating. Okay. So briefly I am explaining you in detail. I have explained in my classes. So if you want the same classes, you can message me. Okay, coming on to the right hand thumb rule, and Fleming's left hand rule, motor rule, dynamo rule, then Dobrindel's law of triads. So these are the important laws. Whatever the laws are being here given over here, then right hand thumb rule. It means that if you are holding a right hand, taking a right hand, such that the thumbs, this is the thumb, it will point in the direction of a current. Then these circles. Okay, so this is your right hand, and if you are holding it like this, okay, so this will point in the direction of a current, and this circled fingers will point in the direction of a magnetic field. That means that if a conductor is been held like this, then the current in a wire will be in the direction of a thumb, and the magnetic field will be in the direction of this circled fingers. Okay. So this circle fingers, I don't know whether it is visible in the video or not, but if it is holded like this the encircled fingers will give you an overview that how the current flows. Okay, then coming on to the Fleming's left hand rule, that is the motor rule. The first three fingers of the left hand are arranged mutually perpendicular, so in this way. Okay, so this is the Fleming's left hand rule, such that the forefinger points in the direction of magnetic field, forefinger points in the direction of magnetic field, then middle finger in the direction of current, then the thumb points in the direction of the motion of a conductor. Okay, then dynamo rule. If I keep explaining the entire laws, then it is going to take time. I have just been naming the laws. If you are having a doubt, comment below. I will send you a short video explaining the same law. Okay, so this is the list of the laws which is very important. Coming on to the difference concepts. Okay, then what is the difference between saturated hydrocarbons and unsaturated hydrocarbons? So saturated, they have a single bond, whereas unsaturated have a double bond. Then the saturated compounds are less reactive and unsaturated compounds are more reactive. The examples are alkanes and cycloalkanes. Here it is alkenes and alkynes. And then homologous analogous organs, then that is these homologous, homo means same, so they have a common origin but they perform a different function. Example is wings of birds and forearms of humans, so they have a same origin, both are the limbs. Okay, both are the limbs, that is our hands, and the that is the wings of the birds are the limbs. But what function do both of them do? Wings helps in the flight of a bird, and our forearms helps in doing the actions. So their functions is different, but their origin is same. So if you want to remember the definition of one thing and the difference concepts, you remember in the one part, and the another part will be the opposite of it. Okay, so analogous is the vice versa of that, that is the which have different origin but perform the similar functions, such as wings of birds and wings of butterfly. So if you look at the wings of bat and wings of a butterfly, these two have a different what do we say, origin. They don't look similar, right? So they have a different wings, but sorry, they have a different structure, but the function performed is both that is the both are the sorry, the functions of both is same, that is the wings of bat also helps in flight, whereas the wings of butterfly also helps in the flight of a butterfly. Okay, now coming on to the oxidation reduction, that is the if addition of oxygen is known as oxidation and removal of oxygen is known as reduction. Then if the oxygen is been getting added, then the electrons are being loosed. How does it occur? In different terms, if you can say, loss of electrons and removal of hydrogen. Since hydrogen is having only one electron in its structure, so if the compound is losing an electrons, then it can also be said that there is a removal of hydrogen as well, because if electrons have been removed, then the hydrogen comprises of only one electron, right? So if that is getting removed, then it will come in account that the loss of electrons is also taking place. Coming on to the arteries and veins. Now arteries helps in carrying the blood from the heart. If they carry, if this is the heart, they will carry a purified blood from a heart, okay, to the other organs, whereas veins helps in carrying blood towards the heart. So this is the two important functions they are doing. One, arteries is carrying a purified blood from a heart and taking it to the other organs, whereas the veins is coming with unpurified blood to the heart for the purification. Okay, and arteries have a thick walls without valves. Okay, so arteries have a thick walls, whereas the veins have a thin valves. Okay, concave and convex mirror. Then concave is always converging. So I always tell my students that remember it in this way. Concave, cave is there, from C comes converging. So concave mirrors and lenses, both are the different things. So you need to remember at least one thing so that the opposite will be the other thing. Okay. So concave mirror is converging and convex mirror is diverging. And inner surface acts as a reflecting surface. Okay, inner surface. Now what is this inner surface? Concave mirror is always in this way. So this part, the inner part, whichever is there, the inner part is the reflecting surface. That means that if a light rays is coming over here, it reflects back to it. Okay. So this part is reflecting. This entire part is reflecting. Okay, this is the inner surface. And outer, in convex mirror, the outer surface acts as a reflecting surface. That means that this is converging. This part is convex mirror. This part is concave mirror. So if this part is the convex mirror, right? So the outer surface, this outer surface will be called as a reflecting surface. So whenever the light falls on this surface, okay, so this surface, then this surface will reflect back the light. Now coming on to the convex lens. So it is thin in the middle and thick at the edges. So concave lens will have a middle. The lens is thin at the middle part. So this is the concave. Okay, so this part, in this part, the middle part is thin and the edges, these complete edges is thick, and it is diverging. Okay, so diverging means it will all the light rays whichever comes to the lens will get diverged back. That means that it will not converge at a point. Converge, meet at the point. If two rays are coming over here, then they will go far from each other. They will not converge at one point. Okay, so this is the meaning of converging and diverging. And AC dynamo, DC dynamo, AC it produces alternating current, DC direct current. Then the slip rings, the different related to slip rings. Then the direction. Okay. Then corrosion and rancidity. What is the corrosion and rancidity? Corrosion, the metals. It happens to the metals. Basically, the metals are long time. The metals which are at the long time exposure to the moisture gets corroded, rusted. Okay, corrosion. Then rancidity, the process of oxidation of oils. That is, the oil in a food products gets oxidized, then the foul smell is observed. That is why the packets of the food are always filled with a nitrogen gas. Okay, and exothermic, endothermic. Exo, outside. So exo means outside. So the reaction in which the heat is liberated, pushed outside in basic English, if I have to say. Then exothermic, the reaction in which the heat is liberated in the environment, it is known as exothermic. Endothermic, endo means inside. So the reaction in which the heat is observed is endothermic. Then what is the difference between a motor and a generator? Then motor converts electrical energy to mechanical energy. The vice versa is the generator or the dynamo. Then biodegradable substance, non-biodegradable substance, very easy. Biodegradable, that means that bio is life. Degradable means getting degraded or getting digested, if I have to say. That will be the proper term to be used. If it is getting digested by the living organisms, then it is known as biodegradable. And non-biodegradable if it is not getting degraded by a microorganisms. Biodegradable, since they will get digested by the microorganisms, they will not cause a pollution, whereas the non-biodegradable components will cause a pollution. Examples are being mentioned. Then what is acquired and inherited traits? So if you have to remember the difference, if I have to remember the definition of something, the important thing you need to remember is that you at least you need to remember it from the words acquired. That means that something is being taken from the environment in which you live, and inherited, that means which is from the birth. Okay, acquired, developed during the lifetime of an individual. The example can be dancing ability in a man. Okay, if you are that hobbies, you can tell basically if you are getting interested towards something and you are developing that hobby, then it is said to be the acquired traits. And inherited, the skin color. Okay, you cannot tell that it has been taken, it is acquired trait. Wherever I used to live, I used to get that trait. That is not something which can define the skin color. The genes define the skin color, and the inheritance defines the skin color. Okay, so this is the difference. Then voltmeter, ammeter, basic difference. Voltmeter is used to measure the potential difference. Then it is used to measure the current. Ammeter is used to measure the current. Then voltmeter is always connected in in parallel connection, whereas in ammeter it is always connected in series. And voltmeter have a high resistance, whereas the ammeter have a low resistance. Renewable, non-renewable, very easy. Series circuit, what is series circuit, what is parallel circuit, very easy. Okay, now chemical balancing, chemical equations. So these are some equations which is being asked from so many years, so you can practice balancing of these equations. Okay, so I cannot be explaining you over here, because I have already discussed for the students who have come for the crash course. So this is the reactivity series. Okay. Okay, so this reactivity series, how does it works means, most reactive element is the potassium. As you move down, as you are moving down, the least is platinum. And the reactivity, now what do you mean by reactivity? When the metal is kept in contact with the oxygen, how does it react, defines its reactivity. If you have to remember it in a simple terms, it is basically that. Okay, so most reactive metal is the potassium, least is platinum, and the metals which are less reactive than hydrogen. So this is the question which is always asked. Mention the metals which are least reactive than hydrogen. Then it is copper, mercury, silver, gold. The series are in this way, are given in the descending order. One important thing you need to remember in this over here is that if the question is asked to arrange the metals in descending order, so descending means from bigger to smaller, right? So you need to see first bigger thing. Okay, you don't have to confuse yourself. First see the definition. Descending means coming down. Coming down is the descending. So first will be the major or the highest reactive element, and then the least, after which it will be coming. In that way you need to remember. Same like that you have to follow it for ascending. Okay, now coming on to the uses. As I said, washing soda, Na2CO3. Formula is also very important for the students to remember. What is the uses of these elements, you need to remember that. Then as you know, washing soda is used in the production of detergent, soaps. Okay, then rayon polymers and water softening. Then all the uses have been mentioned in the chemical, mentioned over here, what the chemical compounds. CaSO4 half H2O is very important, that is the plaster of Paris. They will even ask you for the 1 mark as well, so it is very important for you to remember that. Okay, now the hormones and their functions. Hypothalamus releases which hormone, and what is the function of that hormones. Now the hypothalamus releases the hormones which helps in stimulating the pituitary gland to release hormones. So one hormone is helping the other gland to release the hormone. Okay, so something has been getting attached. Hypothalamus is one gland which is helping the other gland to release the hormone. Now pituitary gland releases the growth hormone which helps in the growth and development of the body. Then thyroid gland, thyroxine, it will regulate the carbohydrate, protein, fat metabolism. Okay. I have also discussed the diseases associated with the deficiency of thyroxine. Okay. So you can check out there. And even I have discussed for the students who have enrolled. So pancreas, insulin, it will regulate the blood sugar level. Then the adrenal gland, that is the adrenaline, helps the body to cope up with the emergency. Fight, flight, fright. Okay, so these three F defines the adrenaline. And in the males, what is the hormones responsible for masculine characters, feminine characters? That. Okay, so everything has been given in a tabular form. I'm just giving you an overview and explaining over that. And plant hormones. So very important plant hormones which auxins, gibberellin, cytokinin and abscisic acid. Auxins helps in the growth, gibberellin helps in the growth of a stem. Auxins helps in the growth of cells. Okay. So basic the hormone which individually focuses on the growth of a cell is the auxin. Gibberellin helps in the growth of a stem. Cytokinin helps in the cell division. Abscisic acid helps in it inhibits the growth causing wilting of leaves. Abscisic acid from A comes aging of a plant. So you can remember it in that way if it helps in the aging of a plant. Now coming on to the important one markers. So these are the important one markers which you need to remember. Okay. And some important concepts which you need to remember is the ionic compounds. What are the ionic compounds? The compounds which are formed by the transfer of electrons from one metal to one non-metal is known as ionic. Okay. So the basic knowledge you need to have is that ionic means ions are involved. How the ions will be formed? When the transfer of electrons takes place. The one who is giving the electron becomes positive and one who is gaining the electron becomes negative. If you have to remember it in a detail, that means that if a compound is losing electrons, then the concentration of a protons is more in that compound. So it takes up the charge positive, that is the plus charge. And in the other compound, if it is taking up the electrons, the concentration of electrons in that compound becomes more. That is why it takes up the charge negative. And the properties are being given here. These are the properties. Okay, so physical nature, melting point. What is the melting point? Solubility. Now how you can prevent the rusting? Now what are the parts of brain and its function? So it is very important. They will ask you to draw the brain, or they will ask you to explain the parts of a brain and its function. So even if they ask you to explain the structure of a brain, you need to write the functions as well as the name of the parts of each thing. Whatever is been given over here, you need to write it in the same way. Okay. So all these things are the important things which you need to remember. So we have shortlisted all important things of your syllabus, so that you shouldn't be pondering into the textbook that what is important, what is not important, and you will end up leaving the things which are very important. So we don't want that to happen. We have created this PDF. You can go through this and study. Okay, so all these things are the things which is very important for you to study. Placenta, which is embedded in the uterine wall of the mother and will help in connecting the fetus and the mother. So what is the function of a placenta is that it will provide the nutrition to the fetus. Okay, Fetus, I think you know the meaning of a fetus. Fetus, the developing baby in the womb of a mother. Okay, so that fetus will take up all the nutrition from the mother's blood. So that connection which is there in between the mother's body and the fetus is the placenta. Now coming to the male reproductive system, what is the structure, what is the function in the smaller way we have given it. You can study that. Then the contraceptive methods, then characteristics of field lines, principle of electric motor, okay, the principle of electric generator, very important, okay. They will ask you to write a diagram and explain the principle of electric motor. That, then good fuel, how can you consider a fuel to be a good fuel, very important. Then factors on which the resistance depends. Then blood vessels and their functions. There are three types of blood vessels: arteries, veins, capillaries. Arteries and veins I have explained you in the differences. Capillaries, the smallest vessels having a walls which are one cell thick. That means that the thickness of the wall is very small. Then blood cells and their functions. What are the cells of the blood and their function? Then physical properties. Then ozone layer formation, how does it occur? Then the ozone depletion. Then advantages of AC over DC, very important. Okay, so here ends the important or the targeted marks of 50. If you study this, at least you are going to get the 50 marks. So the video will be out explaining you the important formulae for the numericals. Okay, stay tuned with us to score out of out in your SSLC science subject and other subjects as well. The videos will be out very soon. So best of luck for your exams and prepare well. Do comment below that how did you find this video, and if you want the PDF of the same file which I have discussed today, comment below. So assalamu alaikum, jazakallahu khair. Stay tuned with us.